It was a quiet Saturday morning in our suburban Ohio neighborhood, the kind where the hum of lawnmowers and the scent of fresh coffee linger in the air. I was tending to my rose bushes, savoring the peace, when my neighbor, Susan, stormed onto her porch. Without so much as a greeting, she declared, "You know, they're letting just anyone buy houses here now. It's dragging the whole place down, making it look unkempt." Her words, laced with disdain, weren't subtle, and her glance in my direction taking in my neatly trimmed lawn and modest brick home felt like a jab. I stood there, garden hose in hand, water pooling at my feet, and said nothing. That moment was the spark. What followed was a saga of deception, betrayal, and a battle that would unravel Susan's world, exposing a criminal empire hidden behind her manicured facade. The trouble began a few weeks later on a Tuesday evening. I was unwinding on my couch, scrolling through work emails, when a pounding on my front door shattered the calm. It wasn't a polite knock, it was the kind that screams emergency. Through the peephole, I saw Susan, her face twisted in fury, her blonde hair pulled into a tight ponytail. She wore a garish pink tracksuit, her arms crossed like she was holding herself together. I opened the door cautiously. "Can I help you?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. "Your Wi-Fi is garbage," she snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. I blinked, confused. "My Wi-Fi? I don't share it." Her eyes narrowed. "I've been trying to download a movie for an hour, and it's still buffering. It's useless." She waved her phone like evidence in a courtroom. The audacity hit me like a slap. She was using my network without permission, and now she was complaining about the speed. "You shouldn't be on my Wi-Fi at all," I said, my voice turning cold. Her face flushed with indignation. "My provider's down. You should get better service if you're going to live next to someone who needs the internet for important work." The entitlement in her words was staggering, and the memory of her earlier comments about the neighborhood gave the exchange a bitter edge. I shut the door, my mind racing. She wasn't just rude, she was a thief. That night, I couldn't sleep. The idea of Susan piggybacking on my network, accessing my private connection, felt like a violation. The next evening, I logged into my router's admin panel, a digital maze of IP addresses and logs. My heart sank as I scanned the connected devices. There it was, Susan's tablet. No attempt to hide it. The logs revealed she'd been on my network daily for 2 months, consuming 672 gigabytes of data, enough for hundreds of movies. My provider had even flagged my account for excessive usage, which I dismissed as a glitch. Now I knew the truth. Susan wasn't just stealing, she was gorging on my bandwidth, likely causing the slowdown she blamed me for. Furious, I changed my password to a complex string, renamed my network, and kicked her off. The silence from next door was blissful for a day. The peace shattered when I found an envelope tucked into my door handle. It was from a local law firm known for bullying tactics. Inside was a notice. Susan was suing me for emotional distress caused by cutting off a shared utility. She claimed we had a verbal agreement, pure fiction, and that my unreliable Wi-Fi had disrupted her freelance media consulting work. She demanded $50,000, accusing me of racial bias, twisting my act of securing my network into a discriminatory attack. The letter was absurd, but its malice was chilling. Then came her next move, a social media post in our neighborhood group. She painted herself as a victim, claiming I'd throttled her connection and hacked her device. She attached fake screenshots, including one alleging I'd sent her a threatening message, "Get off my network. I know who you are." The comments piled up, neighbors I'd known for years siding with her. I felt my reputation crumbling. Desperate, I hired a lawyer, Mr. Harrison, a no-nonsense veteran with a knack for defamation cases. In his oak-paneled office, I laid out the evidence, the router logs, Susan's posts, and her lawyer's letter. He chuckled, calling her lawsuit a circus act, but warned that her public accusations were serious libel. He suggested digging deeper into her work. I called my old friend Mark, a cybersecurity expert. Over a secure call, he analyzed my router logs and uncovered a bombshell. Susan wasn't just downloading movies. Under the alias Movie Maven 88, she was uploading pre-release films to a dark web piracy site, using my Wi-Fi to mask her tracks. Worse, she was spoofing my laptop's MAC address, framing me as the culprit. Mark traced her cryptocurrency profits, tens of thousands of dollars, and sloppy VPN usage that tied her to a bank account. Susan wasn't a petty thief. She was a criminal mastermind. We took the evidence to the FBI. In a sterile office, I presented the logs, screenshots, and Mark's analysis. The agent's skepticism faded when Mark explained the spoofing, showing how Susan had digitally impersonated my device. They opened a cybercrime investigation, urging me to stay quiet. A week later, I got an encrypted email. Susan's home was a hub for a major piracy operation, with profits over $15,000. Her lawsuit was flagged as obstruction of justice. The climax came on a sunny morning. From my office window, I saw Susan filming a tearful video on her lawn, likely another plea for sympathy. 2 black sedans pulled up, and 4 FBI agents stepped out, their jackets emblazoned with bold letters. "We have a warrant," one said. Susan's composure shattered. "This is harassment," she screamed, pointing at my house. "He did this." The agents ignored her, seizing laptops, drives, and a router spoofer. As they cuffed her, she wailed, "I'm a respectable woman. I deserve streaming rights." The neighborhood watched, stunned, as her lies unraveled. But the story didn't end there. A misdelivered letter from Susan to her son, Brian, revealed a hidden USB drive taped under a garden statue. I found it before he did and sent it to Mark. The drive exposed Susan's true operation. She was working with Silver Screen, a film executive leaking screeners to sabotage rival studios. Their emails detailed corporate espionage, with payments to Susan exceeding $250,000. The drive was her insurance policy, and she'd sent Brian to retrieve it, believing she was a martyr. I confronted Brian, urging him to abandon his mother's toxic mission. He left, defeated. I returned to the FBI with the new evidence. Weeks later, a news alert announced Silver Screen's arrest for espionage and piracy. Susan's trial was swift. She was convicted of piracy, fraud, and identity hijacking, sentenced to 14 years. My defamation suit against her settled for $80,000, which I used to fortify my home's security and host a neighborhood party with free Wi-Fi, a jab at Susan's legacy. Brian sold their house and vanished, leaving a nod of acknowledgement as he drove away. Standing on my porch, I felt peace, a hard-won calm after a storm. Susan's empire of lies had collapsed, her schemes exposed by a cheap USB drive. She'd wanted to stream her stolen world on my dime, but now she was stalled in a cell while I reclaimed my life. What do you think? Have you ever faced entitlement or injustice like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. Did Susan deserve her fate, or was the system too harsh? Let's debate the lines between justice and vengeance.